The most anticipated matchup in the history of Blue Lock is finally upon us. Germany's Bastard Munchen will face off against France's PXG for the new Egoist League's big undefeated matchup. Rivals will once again face off with their newly evolved skill sets, and other players we haven't seen much will finally have the spotlight. All of this and more is what we'll be discussing throughout today's video, as I hope to get you guys as hyped up as possible for this upcoming matchup. If you find yourself tuning into the channel and enjoying my content, please do check that you've clicked that subscribe button, are commenting on my videos, and even join the community Discord if that interests you. As always, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Obviously, before we get into any of the rivalries, matchups, or any player evolutions, we're going to have to discuss the formations that both teams will be running. Starting with Bastard Munchen's lineup, Noel prior to the Ubers game had lined up these players in a 4-4-2 formation. With Kunigami and Kaiser taking the role of forwards, this formation supports Bastard Munchen's highly aggressive attacking playstyle. I believe that they'll be taking the same approach when going into the PXG game, however with a new ace at their head. Way back in chapter 209 when the BM vs Ubers regulars were being announced, Noel explicitly told Isagi and Kaiser that whichever one of them could destroy the Ubers defense would become Bastard Munchen's new king. Now I interpreted this as basically him saying if Isagi could outscore and outplay Kaiser in this game and win their competition, then he would become the sole striker going into the PXG match. To start off with the first possible formation, that's exactly the slot Isagi Yoichi will be filling, taking the lead up front all by himself as the sole striker. Now some may say that this does not exactly suit his playstyle and will do more harm than good, but it's what he's been wanting and earned by Conquer and Kaiser. Using metavision and off-the-ball movement alongside his knowledge of luck and protagonism, Isagi might actually prove himself to be someone in need of constant marking. If he is a striker whose very presence requires 2 to 3 people just to watch him, then he's still providing use and openings for his team. Outside of that low ball thinking though, Isagi will obviously be able to find many opportunities for himself up front, as the rest of Bastard Munchen will comprise of mostly blue lockers. Also, like I said, the whole Noah statement about the winner being the team's king makes me feel like this just has to happen. However, we will discuss an alternate formation after this one. To the back left and right of Isagi, I believe that Kunigami and Kaiser will be playing the wings going into the PXG match. Neither player will be benched as they obviously are each going into this match with a chip on their shoulder, and honestly I can't really see them anywhere else. Now the main supporting cast of this heavily offensive front will be none other than Yoichi and Alexis Ness in the midfield. Ness is also interchangeable with Kiyora Jin in my opinion, because Noel did promise him playtime in this upcoming match. In this example however with Hiyori and Ness, Kaiser and Isagi each have their own individual midfielder to help in their goals. The interesting thing about these two though, is it seems like both of them will be passing to the other option anyway in this upcoming game. Ness seems to be dazzled with Isagi's magic, and might even now respect him, and Hiyori has now adopted the Itoshi Rin attitude of only passing for his own sake, and based on the striker. Ness could be the one to assist Kunigami or possibly even Isagi, and Hiyori might provide Kaiser with a chance to bag one of his own. Ryusei would be the main line of defense once more obviously, playing the role of central defensive midfielder, and I'm super happy to see him getting his showtime. I really expected him to have more of an impact during the Bastard Munchen vs Ubers match, but maybe he was being saved for his matchup against Tokimitsu. The left and right backs will be the same old Yukimi Akinyu and Corona Ronze, who are just 2 more people who had tons of what-ifs for the game. I'm wondering a lot if Yukimi will fall off during this game and collapse under the pressure, or if Corona will possibly unlock metavision in order to level up. Moving into our back 2 defenders aside from Gagamaru in the goal, I believe that Igaguri and Neru Tepai will get their showtime as well in this match. Chapter 241's upcoming title is a possible reference to the monk firstly, and Neru is a speed type defender that would be useful against PXG. Also I'm hoping for some fodder to earn value and make their way into the Japan 23 national squad, but it's whatever no matter the case. Anyways, an alternate formation we'll be looking at comes from my buddy Amon in the Soul Society Discord, which the link is in the description. Rather than Isagi going up front all alone, he'll simply play alongside Kaiser as Kunigami once did. This might be better for him due to the defensive pressure being split between both him and Kaiser, and it also sets up for the Emperor to prove that he's still not done. Then on the wings behind these two, Kunigami and Kiyora Jin will both play with a lot to prove in this game. Both of these players need to make an impact and jump their bids up quite a lot, so I expect to see either some goals or god tier assists. And the midfield once more is obviously Yoichi and Alexis Ness for reasons that I don't need to explain, with Yukimi Akinyu and Corona also playing the same left and right back positions. The only difference at the defensive line is that Ryusei and Neru will play further back rather than Igaguri even touching the field, leaving Monk fans to only hope that he can either get subbed in or make his way through in some other odd way. Which of these formations do you think would suit them best, or do you have one of your own that you'd like to share? Make sure to let me know down in the comment section, as I really do enjoy conversing with and reading what y'all say. Moving on to what formation PXG will be taking against Bastard Munich, I have to admit I kinda did struggle with this. Although I do want to entertain the idea of two formations centered differently about Rin and Shidou, I'm kinda hoping that it's just a straightforward brawl kind of match. In the front alongside one another, Itoshi Rin and Shidou ryusei will be handling any of PXG's goals and shots. Apart from being two of the most prominent and notable strikers in the series, both of them are equipped with their own unique playstyle and skill sets. Basically, if they can just coexist and take one half of the field each, then Bastard Munich's defense will finally have to evolve beyond just Isagi. Behind those two, this supposed new Gen 11 player CHAPI will be the one making these opportunities. I believe he could also be seen on the wing with Karasu then taking his place, but it's more than likely not going to be that way. Karasu himself will be in a centralized position in order to also help assist Rin and Shidou, but this spot also allows him to be even more help in defense. During the U20 match, Ego had this man tasked with locking up Itoshi Sai. During Manshine's off-screen match where they got whooped by PXG, I guarantee you too that this man had Nagi and Ryo just as terrified as Rin. Anyways, Nanase and Zantetsu should also be seen as starters, within the left and right back slots. Zantetsu is honestly just the GOAT, what more is there to say, and Nanase is tough to judge because I could also see him in the midfield somehow. If he was somehow able to link up Shidou and Rin just as he did for Isagi during the third selection, it would do well in following the trend of side characters' evolutions. Other than that though, Tokimitsu will also be taking a defensive position with that big ass build and unlimited stamina of his. Any striker that manages to get past Karasu and the others will be in for a treat, because the Incredible Hulk over here could possibly body slam most of the München roster. I know you guys definitely have better formation ideas than this, so please be sure to let me know down in the comments what I should change. Should Nanase be in the midfield, or maybe should Tokimitsu even play in a way that mirrors Ryuichi's position? Anyways guys, now it's time to talk more specifically about how these matchups and interactions are going to go. A lot of people are just mentioning the whole Isagi vs Rin rivalry, but they're forgetting that it takes 3 to tango here. As this page reminded us once again in chapter 240, both Kaiser and Rin are out to kill Isagi here. Itoshi Rin firstly has just been seen dominating the Neo Egoist League so far, now being the #1 player on the entire leaderboard. With PXG still even having one more match against Barca before playing BM, it's possible that he's going to leap even higher in value. My theory however is that Rin will not even waste his time playing against Barca, as he will instead have a long 20-day training arc just like Isagi. I'd expect him to continue honing that devourer state of his that seems to be already refined, as he was shown emitting this aura in the few pages against Manshine. It was never really explained to us what this spiral eye was, but I imagine it was just like how Isagi got his special puzzle metavision. It's a representation of his flow and immersion into his own personal devourer state, that was once again sealed away just like Isagi's was in the light novel. Anyways, against his brother Sai in the U20 match, him zoning out and going rampant probably did more harm than good in terms of how efficient he was. I'm sure Loki is working with him on controlling his head and staying fully concentrated when dominating with this ability. I do believe though that there's one person that will cause him to go rampant once more though, being Bastard Munich's Kaiser. A lot of people have been speculating that he was actually the one to humble Itoshi Sai, and that he will bring this up to Rin during the match. Either that, or he just has knowledge about it and will taunt the kid about his brother. But either way, Rin might not stay cool-headed. Kaiser himself has a ton to prove going into this match, because even with a 320 million bid from Real Madrid, he was still seething with rage. Bastard Munich threw 100 million more for Isagi after his showcase, but couldn't even donate Kaiser another 25 million. I'm expecting Kaiser to back himself a solo goal this match, as even Ness will be lost to him, because this guy is not new Gen 11 level for nothing. Basically what I'm saying is that it's make or break for this guy. Is Kaiser a fraud or truly new Gen level? Now Isagi's role in all of this might seem minute at this point, but let me assure you that this is his game. During Isagi's interview way back in chapter 205, he's being asked about his feelings on his 50 million bid from Bastard Munich, as they think very highly of him as a midfielder. Isagi however immediately exclaims that he's going to survive in this world as a striker, no matter what his playstyle may reflect. Everything he does is to purely fulfill the role of striker, as he only wants to win by scoring goals. The Ubers match has shown us all the proof that we need of Isagi indeed being a striker, however a lot of the community is doubting if he can showcase this on the big stage. Compared to the more solo-oriented Itoshi Rin and Shidou ryusei strikers, Isagi is definitely dependent on his teammates for helping him out. The thing people fail to realize, however, is that his unique ability thrives exactly in these scenarios. Yukimiya, Barou, Hiyori, Ryuichi, Corona. I could go on all day. Isagi has found the guaranteed formula to create not only chemical reactions, but awakenings within players on the field. His Rin becomes more consumed and separated due to his rage-fueled desires. Isagi is reaching the top while bringing others with him. Bastard Munich will more than likely be going flawless here with a 3-2 hard-fought win, because Isagi can still awaken even without a loss. I believe that this next 20 days of training, however, will show great result and maybe his dribbling and solo play, and I might even be working on a full video on that topic. Now, another insane matchup that the community can't stop talking about is Kunigami's spinback on Shidou ryusei. With Shidou kicking Kunigami down to the wildcard where bro didn't even get to leave Blue Lock and see his family, there is absolutely no way that this man is going 0 for 2. I am a firm believer that Kunigami will be bagging an early goal in this match, with his wildcard story possibly being shown in flashes, just like Hiyori's. The problem right now is that he is all alone on the field with no possible assistance, however now he has some. Yoichi stated that he will play like Sai in a non-biased way with strikers, and I also believe that Kiyora Jin will be joining his side. I even have this slight hunch that Kaiser and Kunigami might work together before Isagi and Kaiser, but let me not even ramble about that. I also do hope to see a goal from Shidou just because we all know it will be flashy and badass, but this PXG match already has too many heavy hitters. Now there might even be some legitimate heavy hits, because the community is even theorizing about some potential yellow and red cards. Now I'm hoping Kunigami doesn't lose his shit and get kicked off the field, and the same goes for Shidou in terms of them fighting. Now if Igaguri gets Shidou a red card somehow, then we'd be talking about a potential peak Blue Lock. With the next chapter's title being a possible reference to the monk himself, and his literal self-admitted ability being to draw fouls, he might pull some bullshit and save the day for Bastard Munich. Now another 3 side characters that I'm dying to see are Zantetsu, Tokimitsu, and the little homie Nanase. Luckily, right as I was making this video, chapter 240 dropped showing all 3 of them on the field alongside Itoshi Rin, with them all grabbing bids of their own even with some being in the top 23. There's absolutely no way that Loki hasn't trained them up somehow. Zantetsu literally had a zone far before Chikari even knew what one was, so I'm expecting to see some shot attempts being put up. His speed and shooting ability make him super lethal as is, so I can imagine that he will be somewhat of a threat during this match. Tokimitsu will obviously be providing PXG with some lockdown coverage of any incoming threats, however it's possible that he will also play as an anchor just again as Rin used him for. His literal only downside was his confidence problem and lack of faith in himself, and you can be damn sure that he's been helped with that. If he somehow is functioning on a team with Rin, Shidou, and Loki as his master, yeah, he's chilling for sure now. Nanase I'm sure is even being a great homie to him, however I'm not sure how important his role will be in this game. I'm really split 50-50 between my confliction of Nanase either making the Blue Lock 23 or him not, because it really could go either way. Nanase pretty much either has to score a goal or assist in 2 to even make the roster, so I'm curious to hear what you guys want. Should Nanase make it through and have an amazing showing, or do you think that there's simply too much going on and he'll be pushed to the side? 2 people that will definitely be getting some spotlight though are Karasu and this supposed New Gen 11 player. Karasu firstly has this whole backstory and past with Yoichi, so it's kinda obvious that he will be going crazy. Like we talked about with the formations too, I believe that Karasu will be utilized mainly for assisting and defensive role. With his ability to pick out the weak link of a team and essentially put them down a player, Bastard Munich pretty much is guaranteed to lose a vital player's help. Maybe he even could lock down Alexis Ness, and this is how he gets subbed out of the game, leading into Hiyori's sub-in. Also, I'm curious if his eyes will be explained in this match, because he, Loki, and Lorenzo all have this weird little circle pattern sometimes. Rin's eye too is going to be explained in this match and probably shown, and we can't have this manga turning into Naruto. Anyways, as for what CHAPI will do, I'm expecting a pretty similar performance to Karasu, however just a bit more offensive. He could serve to link up and contain both Itoshi Rin and Shidou, while also maybe even making opportunities for himself. Our problem here is that I don't think with so much going on, he can really be highlighted as a new gen player, unless this match is going to be like 50 chapters. If this super anticipated matchup is riddled with backstories like Lorenzo and Hiyori's, I'm going to lose my mind. With only one thing left to talk about now, what kind of coach will Julian Loki be? As we saw during the World 5 match that's even shown in the anime, Loki is a speedster very similar to France's Kylian Mbappe. Using his keen eyes to find openings between clueless opponents, Loki is able to just blitz through at inhuman looking speeds. He also seemed to be a very good sport as well as a calm and reasonable person, but looks can be deceiving. Due to him being a young prodigy himself just like the Blue Lockers, it's very likely that he has his own immature side and ego as well. I imagine though that he's very strict about when he jokes around and how he conducts himself, as being a young pro has probably forced him to know how to do this. This is why I think his training will be helpful for players like Rin and Shidou specifically, and Tokimitsu, as they all need a better grip over their desires and egos. If he could refine these players into calm, controlled threats that have full grasp over their own strength, this Bastard Munich roster might not actually stand a chance. I don't really expect Loki to even sub into the game as there's already so much going on. However, I do think that we could have some backstory between him and Noel Noah. It seems as though Noah basically knows everybody as is, and with Loki being a young, upcoming pro in the French League, Noah surely has to have some knowledge on him. Overall, there's just so much to talk about, and we will continue to do so as more is revealed. This matchup is not one that will have a single dull chapter, so make sure to comment below and tell me. What are your final score predictions for the Bastard Munich vs PXG match, and who do you have scoring each goal? If you would like to stay updated with every single chapter up to and during the match, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, commenting on my videos, and even joining the community Discord if that interests you. We'll be talking about theories, predictions, and doing even more cool stuff in these coming weeks that you won't want to miss. As always, I hope you all continue to have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys Tuesday for my chapter 240 review.